Good morning and welcome to American News. On today's segment of Decades Week, we'll be talking about the 1950s. One of the most defining parts about the 1950s was television. Although inventions and development for the television began in the 18th century, the early 1920s really brought the idea to life. Scientist John Logie Baird invited some other scientists and a reporter to his flat on January 26, 1926 to show them his mechanically engineered television. Later that year, he formed the Baird Television Development Company and the world's first TV station, 2TV. Years later, in 1936, the BBC began regular television programming. The 1950s was a time of family and friends, and the television really allowed this. Shows like I Love Lucy, Leave It to Beaver, and The Twilight Zone brought families together in the morning, the afternoon, and the evening to watch these family-friendly shows. On today's segment of Decades Week, Nancy and Annabelle will be showing you some of the most famous TV shows from the 1950s. Ladies, take it away.
First we have The Ed Sullivan Show, a talk show starring, of course, Ed Sullivan. It began in 1948 and ran on CBS until 1971. It is most famous for its rock music talents. One of the most famous breakthrough performances was done by the Beatles.
Welcome to The Ed Sullivan Show. Today we have a special guest. I'd like to welcome the Beatles. Gunsmoke began in 1955 and stars James Arness. He plays a marshal in a rough city attempting to keep the peace. It made people feel comforted and gave them a sense of hope that good will always triumph over evil.
Starring James Arness as Marshal Matt Dillon.
Next, we have I Love Lucy. This show began in 1951, airing on CBS. It starred Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. It portrayed a daffy woman, Lucy, striving to become a star along with her already famous husband, Ricky.
Twilight Zone began in 1959, starring Rod Serling. His original series focused on ordinary folks who suddenly found themselves in supernatural situations. Viewers could relate to the confusion of the characters due to communism and the fear of nuclear war.
I'm talking Tina, and I love you very much. I'm talking Tina, and you'll be sorry. Lassie began in 1954 on CBS. It follows the adventures of a female collie dog named Lassie and her companions. It first starred Tommy Reddick and Jan Clayton. Lassie the dog was portrayed by Lassie herself and later her descendants.
Lassie! Lassie! Lassie, come here!
Starring Tommy Reddick as Jeff.
Starring Jan Clayton as his mother Ellen.
George Cleveland as Gramps.
And of course, Lassie.
Well, ladies, thank you for your time and for showing us all the wonderful attributes of the 1950s famous TV shows. Thank you for joining us today, everyone, and make sure to tune in tomorrow for the 1960s portion of our Decades Week.